You're listening to Power Femme Radio. This is a podcast where ladies come together and try to share their opinions and empower each other to be better women in society.
Did he just say try? You're listening to Power Femme, where women don't try, we do. Maria is an international hybrid health coach and the founder of the Me, Myself, and Health Academy. In the last year, she's traveled the world while running her online business and impacting thousands of women to pursue healthier and happier lives. She wants women to achieve the freedom that she has had in her own health journey, and she's on a mission to inspire women to create the life of their dreams.
Yes, me.
It's you, Bill. I love it. Wait, okay, can we start? What's a hybrid health coach?
Yeah, it's so you have your typical health coaches that usually give out meal plans and workout programs, and then you have your functional medicine coaches or doctors who deal a lot with internal health. So I'm kind of that little spot in the middle. So I do the meal plans, I do the workout programs, mindset coaching, but I also offer support with hormones, metabolism, thyroid, gut health, all of that jazz. So it's more like a holistic, like heal from the inside out type approach.
Was that always your approach?
Oh, no. I was super basic to begin with.
Really?
Yeah. Like so basic, which is fine.
Yeah.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But then I went through my own hormone issues, so I learned a lot about that. And then I went to Peru and I picked up a bunch of nasty gut bacteria and parasites. And then I had GI issues that I had to learn how to go through.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Yeah, we love Peru. So I went through all of that and learned about it. And then I just realized how many women needed support in that department. Like how many women were constantly bloated, how many women had like no libido, inability to gain muscle. And it's all because of hormones. So I was like, you know what? Like, why don't I do what I'm doing now, but then put that on crack by adding gut and hormones and thyroid support to my clients.
It's crazy for me to even think about the fact that people constantly deal with like hormonal acne or cystic acne or like bloating or these things that you were talking about, or like even just much deeper issues like not getting your period and all that, and so many women just think that's just how I am.
That's just normal. It's their new normal.
And it's not normal.
No, not normal at all.
So when you take people through this process, are they typically just like, oh my God, I've never felt this way before?
They're like, what is this life? Like, wow, my skin is clear. I'm not bloated. I can fit into my bikinis. I actually want to have sex with my husband.
Wow.
It's crazy. And it's those internal wins that really get me fired up and going. Like, great, you lost 15 pounds, but like, hey, my marriage is better, or I have more patience with my kids, or I'm taking pictures with my children, or I know.
Oh my God.
I know. It's like those things that give me a little tear in my eye.
Yeah.
But and I really do believe that just when you address your health, you also uncover a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like every couple pounds that you lose, you're shedding a layer of toxins or whatever was happening in your life that caused you to gain those 2 pounds, whether that's emotional trauma or unhealthy lifestyle, you're like shedding that. So you're peeling back this onion, and eventually you get to the mind portion, right? And then that's when you start uncovering a lot of deep stuff, and a lot of that affects gut health and hormones.
Yeah.
So once you can address that, not only physically do they feel amazing, but then mentally they're a better human, and that has them being better partners and mothers and workers, and they're making more money, and their marriage is better. So like fitness affects everything, especially for women, because a lot of the women that I work with are moms, and they're the backbone of the family.
Yeah.
Their children are going to imitate her whenever they grow up. You know?
Yeah, that is so true. God, it's that true. So true. I'm like, I'm turning into my mother.
I know.
The older I get.
Same thing. I'm like, what's your Netflix password, Daniela? My sister, I'm like, can you just do it for me? I'm like, oh my God, I sound like my mom.
Oh no, the older I get, like, it's so funny because I love my mom to death. Actually, like, I hope I have half the resilience she has when I'm her age. She's overcome so much. She's so incredible, strongest, most fierce woman in the world. But the older I get, no matter how hard I try to not end up like my mom, I am like a spitting image of her.
Yeah.
And so much of me comes from her. So
yeah,
it's funny that you say that too, because with like fitness being so important in the beginning point for such a huge transformation for people, I feel like when I first got into fitness, it was like just this mind-blowing thing, like almost like better than a drug.
Yes.
you know, and it was like I started to get to know myself a bit more, just like I started to create this new version of myself. Do you think that people should work out every single day?
I think it's important to move your body every single day. Now, that can be a weighted workout, that can be a Pilates class, that can be stretching, whatever you want it to be, yoga.
Yeah.
I believe that taking care of yourself physically every single day is such a gift to yourself. And it allows for you to fill your cup up by doing things that are nourishing to your body before you go and take care of other people, right? Like you can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. So I do some sort of movement every day. Maybe it's just a 30-minute walk. Sometimes it's like I'm doing supersets and backflip burpees at the gym. You know, like whatever the case is. But I tell my clients, like, take that hour a day to really just focus on you. That's 1 out of 24 hours. You can dedicate that to yourself.
Yeah.
And when I don't do that for myself, I don't have as good of a day because I feel like something's missing.
Right.
You know?
No, totally.
So no, it doesn't have to be crazy workouts every single day or like a spin class every day. It's just like moving your body. And like I said, it could just be like 30 minutes of stretching.
Right. That's
Which,
amazing.
Now that I'm 30, I've realized how important that is.
It's so important. You know, so maybe you can speak to this because I feel like I myself obviously have been through like a fitness transformation. I was a fitness coach as well at one point. I don't know, like when I first got into fitness, it was like the only thing that mattered. Like it was like I was spending 3 hours a day in the gym. Like I was committed. And, you know, my boyfriend and I still together, but like he was training for a competition and like it was something we did together. So we were bonding. But now looking back, I'm like, okay, like I don't subscribe to that way of working out at all anymore. Now I'm very much like a yogi, whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But like, where's the balance? Like, how do you find your way of like, okay, I either do like 5 days a week of heavy lifting and I'm like in that zone versus like, okay, I'm in Shavasana every morning calling it yoga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's different for every person and different for the stage of life that they're in too. Because I've had moments where all I've been able to do is the restorative yoga where I'm practically napping the entire time.
Right.
And then there's moments where I feel like I want to go to the gym. So I think like hormones greatly affect that.
Yeah.
What part of your cycle that you're on too, especially if you're ovulating, you have so much energy, like go hard at the gym. And then when you're on, you know, when you're bleeding, when you're on your cycle, like, you know, take some time off. But in terms of like long term, as long as what you're doing is not affecting you physically in a negative way or mentally, then do what feels right. Yeah. Like obviously if you're training hardcore 7 times a week, you will know when it's affecting you in a negative way. Like your hormones are going to be out of whack. Your relationship is going to suck because you don't have time. So that would be an indication that maybe you need to be more balanced. And then, of course, if you are doing yoga all the time and your goals are to build muscle and you're frustrated because you don't have the definition that you want, then that's a good indicator that maybe you need to do something a little bit more intense to build that. So it's all about like what your goals are, what your biofeedback is for your body, and the relationships around you. Like, do you have time to nourish those? Or do you need to take a step back to nourish them?
I feel like there are so many different stages that you go through in your fitness journey. You go through like the need to start, and then you start, and then you have like resistance that comes. And so then there's this need to master consistency, if you will, right? So and then once you master consistency, I feel like with working out and just with anything in life, this beautiful lesson I learned from working out is like, you never get to the top. Like you never actually reach your end.
No end goal.
There is no end goal. And like shit gets harder and harder. It's like levels of like a video game or something like that, the freaking Matrix. How can somebody know that like maybe they're at a point where they need to start to take care of themselves in this way, and this is the thing that's going to help them change everything?
Yeah. There's usually 2 places. One is, I'm unhappy, I don't know where to start, I know nothing, help me, teach me. And then the other thing is, I'm doing everything right and it's not working.
If someone's struggling, maybe mentally, physically, with their health or just their energy, right? Like, or they're just depressed, how do they know, like when's a good time to start? You know, I mean, I feel like a lot of people feel too far gone.
Right.
Or they've just never reached or attained a goal that they maybe deep down want, and therefore they don't think it's possible for them?
I think it's different for everyone. When I meet with clients, and I do this right off the bat, I always ask them what their aha moment was, because like something triggered them to apply, and it's usually like, oh, my marriage is falling apart, or I have a wedding coming up, or I've spent $3,000 this year on quick fixes, nothing is working, I'm tired of not fitting into my clothes. So they give me reasons like that. For me specifically, it's when I went through a very toxic relationship. I was with him for 6.5 years total. And when I became single, I did like 2 years. I was like, whoa me, I'm going to party my balls off. I like literally want to like mask all my feelings. I've been abused, and I gained 30 pounds of weight doing this, and also $30,000 in debt because I was living this lifestyle that I couldn't afford. And one day I remember waking up and my Thanksgiving fat pants were tight, and I was like, oh hell no.
Oh no.
I was like, nope, this is not happening. And I'd been drinking the night before, and I always bruise really easy when that happens, and I had like little bruises on my arms. It's like, okay, this is not good. Like my mom raised me better than this. I'm not making the best decisions. Like something's missing. So my girlfriend and I, we did this joint fitness program together, and I ended up losing 15 pounds. And then we got me kind of lean, and my coach was like, have you ever thought about doing a show? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But then I kept drinking and like going out because I hadn't addressed the mind, right?
Yeah.
And then I had a better body, right?
Yeah.
So now I had like this new confidence. And then like 3 or 4 of my makeout boyfriends were at the same bar, and it was like this whole ordeal. So I was like, okay, Maria, you need to figure out what's going on.
Wait, pause. Were they all like expecting you to make out with them, and then
I had made out with them at some point.
On separate occasions?
Yes.
Or all on the same night?
No, at separate occasions, but they were all at the same bar. So in my head, I'm like, okay, which one do I choose? Do I avoid all of them? How do I
play this?
Exactly. And I was like, your mom did not raise you to do this.
Oh, wow.
But I was like newly single and like trying to date and trying to figure out who I wanted to be with. And, so it's like you go on a date, and then, they kiss you, but it's like nothing serious, right?
Right.
But like I was trying to find the right person.
Well, I mean, why not have options if you just got out of a 6.5 year relationship that was abusive?
Just
like
not all the options in one place.
Yeah, maybe just not all.
That's just my hometown though. That's like that would probably never happen here in LA, Orange County.
Yeah.
So it was just funny situation. I was like, okay. And I think there was maybe a fight or something. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago.
The guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like, you sniffed her. That's my woman.
Like, that's my Sicilian. So it was after that, and I was like, okay, I think I just need to like stop drinking for a while.
Wow.
So that's when I did my first competition prep, is because I needed something that would just
hold you accountable.
Yeah, and remove me from that lifestyle. And that was the best decision ever, because then after being sober for 12, 14 weeks, I was able to take a look at my life from a bird's eye view. And once I was so far removed of it, I was like looking at other people's choices and lifestyles, and I was like, ugh.
Wow.
Like, I don't think I want that for myself.
Yeah.
And I always knew I wanted more too.
Yeah.
Because I was raised in Sicily. It's
right.
like island vibes.
Vibes.
And then moved me to Springfield, Missouri.
Oh my God.
Which is
It's like they took you, the cheetah, and put you in a cage.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Have you read Untamed by Glennon Doyle?
I have it.
She talks about the cheetah. You didn't read it, huh?
No. Can you tell?
Yes. So
I have it.
She talks about how she takes her children to the zoo with her partner, and she's at this zoo, and they see this gorgeous cheetah, and it's sitting in its artificial home that it has at the zoo, and the cheetah just kind of looks sad. Like the cheetah's not really responding. There are kids banging on the glass and just trying to get the attention. And the cheetah looks sad. The cheetah was born in this zoo. The cheetah doesn't know any different.
Right.
And so like the tour guide's talking about this cheetah that lives here, and it's it belongs to the zoo, and this is like it's like a family here, and da-da-da. But she talks about how you can notice a sort of sadness within this cheetah that maybe she's not aware of the cage that she's in, but she has a dissatisfaction within her because what she's meant to do is be running out in the wild.
Yep.
So that's what
it was a sense of feeling incomplete and knowing that I needed more,
Yeah.
but not being able to access it.
Wow.
Because I feel and look my best when I'm traveling.
Yes. Oh, I'm in the flow when I travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am like, my skin is glowing, my eyes are brighter.
Wow.
I'm like, my skin is better, depending on what country, not Peru. My digestion's better too. Third world countries, or like, are just a little bit harder. But because I'm multicultural, like I was born in London, and I was there for 6 years, moved to Sicily for 5 years, where I did all my elementary in my house. Like, if you were picture your most favorite authentic Italian movie with like a villa, that was my house.
Wow.
I have a vineyard still.
Wow.
A hazelnut forest with like so many fruit trees. Like, as a kid, we didn't even have TV. Like, we had a TV box that was like this big, and it was like black and white, and it was like, the sound. But we weren't allowed to watch TV unless it was on the weekends. And then
we could
only watch it if our homework was done. So when our homework was done on the weekends, we wanted to go play with the neighbors' kids. So we literally never watched TV.
Wow.
And we would build tree houses. We would find rocks and old cement, and we would try to make like houses to live in. And my dad would hand me scissors, and I would go and like cut the grapes for the wine harvest and like drag a bucket back. And then like when my dad would cook, he'd be like, "Hey, go out to the garden and grab some fresh basil." I'm like, "Okay, Dad." And I would go and grab basil and weeds because I didn't know any different. But that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
And so going from that to a completely different language, completely different culture, Springfield, Missouri was really hard.
Yeah.
I had to relearn the English language because I had forgotten it from being in London.
Right.
There was only one English as a second language program in our town. And so anyone from Springfield would go there. So you could live 30, 45 minutes away, and you would still have to go there. Like, there were no districts.
Oh my gosh.
So because there was only like 15 of us, they gave us a short bus. So I also rode the
rode the short bus?
I rode the short bus in middle school. Cute. And let me tell you, that will follow you all the way to high school. People will know and remember.
Oh.
Yeah. It's fine.
So you went from this totally different environment to living in Springfield, Missouri, where you were surrounded by land and people who probably didn't have the best habits. You found yourself in bars a lot. Mm-hmm. You shared this quote on Instagram, and I wanted to ask you about it. I think it goes perfectly just with you recognizing the toxic relationship and being able to leave. Yeah. You say, "When you don't let people disrespect you, they will start calling you difficult. But I would rather be hard to deal with than easy to manipulate." Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
There's two parts to this quote that I love and I resonate with. One, the first part is, my entire life I kind of let people walk all over me. And it's because my mom modeled that a little bit. She would do whatever my dad said and try to keep the peace, and kind of like walking on eggshells and making sure everyone was perfect. And I would ask her what was wrong. She's like, "Everything's fine," and I did that too. And so people would take advantage of me and my niceness and my kindness. And so I wanted to kind of grow a backbone, because that would affect me later on in life, and still does from time to time. I catch myself. But I had a couple friends that were not okay with my transformation happening. And because I wasn't living that lifestyle anymore, they changed how they acted towards me and started calling me very haughty and accusing me of thinking that I was better than everyone else, which that was not the case. I was just like trying to go in a different direction.
You were feeling more confident.
Yeah.
You were just taking care of yourself.
And they were not used to me being confident.
Right.
They were not used to me being fit. They were not used to me getting attention and people talking to me. Because again, I would always make myself kind of small. Right. So once I started changing, I kind of just like sifted through my friends, and I had friends that changed with me and were accepting of the new Maria, and then I had some friends that were not, and now they're acquaintances, and that's okay. So I would rather that happen than me be stuck in this pattern of people using me and me dimming my light and not standing up for myself. And the second part, I'd rather not be someone people can manipulate. I was modeled a marriage where both parents manipulated each other in their own way, and it wasn't a happy marriage. And I just don't want that to happen to me in any relationship that I'm in. And I had to learn to take a stand for myself, and it's okay to ruffle feathers if it's something that is going to not benefit you, but as long as you're not harming anyone and you're taking a stand for yourself, it's okay if their feathers are ruffled. Like that's on them, right?
Right. It's
like,
not your responsibility
exactly.
how they respond to your new creation.
Exactly.
You are only responsible for what you're continuing to create. And if that causes a reaction in someone, it's not your problem. That's a personal problem.
Right. Yeah. It's they're responding based on how they were raised and based on how their life experiences have been. But my mother, she's an angel. She's great. She just wants everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
And I want that too.
Right.
But I don't want that anymore to the point to where I'm not happy because of it. So I had to grow a backbone and take a stand for the things that I want.
Why, Maria, is it so triggering for people to see you change?
I think it makes them feel very uncomfortable because I honestly feel like everyone knows deep down that they should be healthy, right? Like if you are overweight, like you probably know that you should not be overweight, right? And whether that's a disease that's making you that way or a lifestyle choice that's making you that way, maybe you've tried and tried again to lose weight and you haven't been able to. When you see someone else succeed, it makes you feel bad about yourself, and misery loves company. So whether you know you're doing it or not, you may say something to like bring that other person down because you want them to feel closer to how you feel. So like you'll be at dinner and Stacy will order a salad and add grilled chicken on top, and then maybe you didn't know what to order on the menu, so you already ordered, the mac and cheese, and you see Stacy's salad, and you're like, oh, you're having a salad?
Stacy?
Yeah.
Stacy salad?
Yeah. So you're having a salad? Like it's like subtle things like that.
Yeah. No, totally.
Whereas me being fit, like I would see Stacy ordering grilled chicken, I'd be like, yeah, that's my girl.
That's my girl. Yeah. Hit your macros.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would start a conversation like, hey, you picked something super healthy. That's awesome. Are you into fitness?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, I totally.
And people get triggered by that because they deep down know that they should probably be doing the same, and they either haven't been able to or can't.
All of that is to say, if you are, because this happened to me a lot in my 20s, if you are experiencing like rigidity in your friendships, but you also happen to be going through a time of transition and change, don't take it personally, because it's not about you. It's 100% about the person who has an issue with whatever it is you're doing.
I agree with that.
So what are some of the things that you used to do that you are just absolutely not doing anymore?
Tequila.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. From time to time, I'll throw some tequila in there. But I really started valuing my sleep. Beforehand, I was just going out all the time, getting up to be at work at 8, like maybe getting 4 hours of sleep. So I know. I don't know how I function.
Sleep is so underrated.
I am such a grandma now.
Me too. What time do you go to bed?
Like 9:30.
Yeah, like asleep by 9:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an alarm that goes off at 8:30, and as soon as that hits, I'm just...
Yes.
You can't contact me.
And we just had a girls' weekend, and before our girls' weekends would be like tequila, sushi, stilettos, like mini skirts, and our girls' weekend was fire, like a fire with hot cocoa and period underwear, face masks.
Yeah, we did.
Fuzzy socks in a cabin in the woods.
I know.
So things have changed a lot, but I would say I have more of those nights now than I do the other nights, and I feel 21 at heart. So like I need those other nights too from time to time where I go out and I get dressed up, but it's definitely not as often as it was before. But that I started really working on my mindset, like reading books and journaling and meditating, and that has helped to really ground me and help me figure out where I want to go in life. And if I do need to make a decision, it helps me make better decisions. And I definitely eat more every single day than I was before.
Is that something that surprised you on your like fitness journey? Because you're in the best shape of your life.
Yeah, I feel that.
And you're eating more, and you're...
Yeah, because before I would eat healthy during the week, which was really under eating.
Yeah.
But then on the weekend, it was a free for all. Like I had that warrior mentality to, probably 5,000 calories if you include alcohol. So that, me under eating and then overeating on the weekend it was awful for my fat. My fat cells, my fat percentage just kept going up and up. So me being more consistent throughout the entire week and not just the weekdays was a huge difference for me, because the weekend's 33% of your week.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% or 0. So like,
Right.
if I go hard, I go hard.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I have to really practice balance.
Yeah.
So I would ruin 2 weeks worth of progress in one weekend.
It's a lot easier to mess it up than it is to build it.
Yes.
Like you can spend a year building it and then you just set that baby on fire.
Yeah.
It's like some habits truly are toxic habits and they keep you in a low place because they're hard to get out of.
Yeah.
You know? So I think, like we were just saying, like when you try to claw your way out of that, it's very triggering to see somebody get out and then you still feel so stuck.
Right. Yeah. Because you see them going up and moving out and then you are stuck there.
Yeah.
And I even feel that way too sometimes. Like, I'm a normal human being. Then I have to remind myself, like, everyone is different.
Yeah.
Right? And then I get over it
Well,
immediately.
okay, so if you are somebody who struggles with comparison, like, naturally, I think it's not something to beat yourself up about. I mean, because I naturally, like, I think my brain is just wired this way. It doesn't matter if you're my best friend or just an acquaintance. Like, if I see somebody, and I know this isn't great, but it's true. If I see somebody like really like succeeding or killing it, it doesn't matter if it's something I'm interested or not.
Yes.
They immediately go on the pedestal.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I like,
Yeah.
oh, they achieved something or, oh, they're doing something.
Yeah.
And usually people only share their highlights on
Right.
social media, but like immediately they go on the pedestal. So like I've had to get really good at like not comparing myself and taking people off of like off of the pedestal.
Yeah. Sometimes if I get that way, I'll think of that person really constipated.
Why does that help you?
I'm like, oh, she's got issues, you know, like she's a real person, like, you know, I don't know, it just makes me feel
like I heard a quote once that was like Beyonce poops.
Exactly. Yeah. So it helps me take them off of a pedestal.
Yeah.
When I can picture them struggling with things
like
that
you see them,
a lot of people struggle with, or maybe I'm like,
squatty potty.
Exactly, like completely butt ass naked, like face is red, you know, and I'm in my head, I'm like, well, I know how to fix that. She probably doesn't.
Oh my god.
Or I would never get that way. You know, I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know. It's just me though. I'm a little twisted.
Okay, I want to play a game of this or that.
Okay.
I have some written down, but I might go a little crazy.
I love that.
Okay, cool. Okay, air dry or hair dry? Hair dryer.
Right now in my phase of life, diffuser.
Diffuser.
Yes.
You put me on the diffuser. It changed my life.
I know it's not one of the this or that, but like it would be a hair dryer, but with a diffuser.
With a diffuser.
Yes.
If you have curls, you have to diffuse your hair. This is the most, like, Maria put me on this, and it actually changed my life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because like I used to like straighten my hair all the time.
Yeah.
And like even like in second grade, like I wanted to be Avril Lavigne, so I wore a tie to school every day and I like pinned straight hair.
I cannot picture this at all.
Oh my
God. This is so you right now.
Yeah, I know. And now I'm like curls.
Yes.
Let the curls out.
Curls are in. So
curls are in, bitches. Okay, period underwear or tampons?
I'm a tampon girl.
Tampon girl. Do you have
I should be
underwear?
a period underwear girl, but like it can get messy, you know.
As we both know. Yes.
And I mean my periods are not super heavy, so I don't know.
Okay, tattoos or piercings?
On a man or woman?
Ooh, let's do both.
On a man, tattoos for sure. On a woman, I don't know, because I don't swing that way. So like I guess I think both are beautiful. I think tattoos also.
Yeah, tattoos also.
I mean, I have more piercings than I do tattoos, which is weird.
It's weird because I feel like girls go for the gold. Like girls get like the piercings because it's like, I don't know, it is
feminine.
It is. Like I've never seen a dude with like more piercings than tattoos.
Right. I mean, I love how piercings look. I think they're very feminine. And they can be, especially if they're in the right places. And I have more piercings than I do tattoos. Like I have a ton. Like sometimes.
How many tattoos do you have?
3.
Question mark?
Yeah, I have 3. Well, one is technically 1, but it's like right here.
A piece.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's limbs, right? So 3, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 piercings.
Oh wow. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so piercings.
I used to have 11, but those were inconvenient.
Oh no.
So those.
What was it? Was it your foot?
No, my nipples.
My nipples. They were inconvenient?
Yeah, because when I had implants, then they just kept pushing against my bras and everything, so I just took them out.
Yeah. it sounds like a good idea, but then when you do it,
Well,
not.
when you don't have boobs, that's like the only thing that you can do to make them somewhat
Are you glad you got
different.
your boobs done?
I am.
Do you love them?
I do.
That's amazing. Do you have any advice for someone who's thinking about getting their boobs done? What did it do for you?
It increased my confidence because I have such a big face and such big hair and eyebrows that I felt like my chest did not
to match.
to match the big personality as well. So
Yeah.
I felt like it made me very like well-rounded and very proportionate.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wanted to get implants, that is completely a personal decision. So I don't want to sway one person either way. There's definitely pros and cons. If you have a really, really stressful lifestyle, your body is more likely to reject your implants, and that's when you can get breast implant illness.
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. But I also feel like there was a huge movement of that.
Yeah, there was.
And a bunch of people took theirs out, and it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And it was probably more likely something else going on that they didn't quite uncover.
Super interesting. I'll have to talk to somebody who's done an explant.
Yeah.
Okay, heavy lifting or cardio?
Heavy lifting.
Ooh, why?
Cardio is cardio.
Cardio is cardio.
I mean, yes, weights for sure.
Okay. If there's somebody who's listening to this who like only does cardio, like what do you have to say to them?
Come see me. Let's train together.
Yes.
There's just something so empowering about lifting a 30-pound suitcase above into the airplane. What is that?
The aircraft carrier.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I don't know, the
and not
luggage
having
area?
a man have to do it for you. Like,
Yeah.
back up, Joe. I got this. And then you just like press it into
Totally.
there. Or,
Totally.
like, yeah. And then like being in a dress and having some nice Carrie Underwood legs where you can see like a little quad sweep
Wow.
is so sexy. Like I literally feel like I know because of how I'm built that I will walk into a room and this sounds weird, but I know that people will notice I look different.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like to make heads turn.
Oh, well
And
said.
and it's also very like, and when I see someone else, like, so if another female were to walk in and she was not ripped by any means, but I could tell she's working out, I'd be like, oh, good for her. You know,
Right.
Like, I was like, in my head, I'm like, I know that you've worked really hard for that. Or men who are shredded, I love. I know how hard they work for that, so it's very inspiring to me, and it says a lot about their character and discipline.
Well, I think that you can immediately tell the energy of a person who works out. Like you can distinguish the difference between someone who moves their body and is intentional with their life. Like I feel like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're going in on one area of your life, whether it's fitness or mindset or relationships, like the other areas are typically really affected. And so the same is also true if you're someone who does not take care of yourself. I feel like that energy really shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think weight training is, especially if you're a foodie, weight training helps build your metabolism. So you naturally can eat more. And I love eating. So yes, I like to turn heads when I walk into a room, but I also love food so much. My dad was a chef. So
Italian chef. Like
chef,
authentic
good,
Italian.
like owned a restaurant chef. And so I have a very eclectic, spoiled palate. So I love traveling because of all the food.
Wow.
Like when I was in Bali for a month, all I did was go to a new cafe every day and work.
That's amazing. What
cup
kind of food
coffee,
do they have there?
Just deliciousness. It's
Wow.
like all clean colors and presented nicely. Like, I mean, all the food that is practically, have you been to Tulum?
No, but I'm going for a bachelorette trip. It's going to be insane.
Bali's like Tulum, but way, way cheaper.
Wow.
And like all the cute little places here, eclectic places here in LA, it's kind of like that.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I
Really
also
fresh.
there is something to eating colorful food. Like, you know, I mean, I feel like you can make eating healthy as easy or being healthy as easy or as complicated as you want it to be. And I feel like you can still achieve good results. Like even if you just walk out in the world and you're like, today my intention is just to, like, instead of being like, I'm going on this strict diet, you could literally just say, I want to eat colorful natural foods today.
Yes.
You know, do you have any tips on like how to maybe make fitness easier?
You need to find the recipes. You need to learn through trial and error the foods that you like and don't like, what foods to put together, what spices, what condiments to add. And also, I feel like it's really helpful to learn the science behind the food that you're eating so that you can start valuing it. Like once you understand how protein impacts your body in a positive way, you will always make sure that there's protein at each meal, right? When you understand that different colors of foods have different micronutrients, and those micronutrients help your gut health so that you don't get bloated, like you will start to value those things. And when you remove processed foods and high sugars, your palate also changes so that you can actually taste the natural sugars and flavors of the food, and that makes you like those foods more. So for someone who is just starting out, if you don't have the time to do the research and the trial and error, hire a coach that will give you a tasty meal plan.
Oh yeah, good. You have a ton of recipes too.
I have a ton.
On your Instagram.
I have 3 cookbooks that my assistant coach and I have made together. They're just like PDF books. But we have a general one that has breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, desserts. And then we have a fall favorites, which is all basic pumpkin warm spice.
Oh my God, I
love pumpkin mac and cheese and like
pumpkin mac and cheese.
Yes, like pumpkin loaf, protein pumpkin loaf. We have, just like everything, like healthy pecan pie, and then we have a holiday cookbook. So it's like healthy. Are you okay? So we have healthy versions of typical holiday food.
Oh, that's
like healthy
great.
Cranberry sauce, baking a chicken. What else do we have? Like healthy dressing, stuff like that. And the goal is to provide these things for clients so that they can still indulge in their favorite foods, but do it in a lower calorie way.
And no FOMO.
Exactly. Because the thing is, like, it's never going to be exactly like the high calorie meal is going to be, but it might be a close second or third. And as long as you feel like you're participating and you kind of fix the sweet tooth or indulge and you feel somewhat satisfied, like that's enough to keep you going. So we do that for our clients if they're tracking macros, or if they don't want to do that, then we can give them meal plans. And the app that I use currently will give you 4 different options per meal. So for breakfast, you have 4 different options of breakfast that you can have. So it gives them variety too. And so that's a good place to start.
I've noticed that when I have like a meal plan, I just print it out and put it on my refrigerator, and for whatever reason, just having that there, I execute. But like if I don't have that on my refrigerator, I could have a full refrigerator of a bunch of healthy options, and for whatever reason, if nothing's on my refrigerator, I either like forget to eat a meal, or like I'm like, I don't know what I want, and then I go for something that's easy and I microwave it, you know what I mean? So it's super easy to fall into that. So actually, for those listening right now, super helpful tip is to print your meal plan and put it on your refrigerator. And you'll have more energy. And like, also I've done the macros that you're talking about before. And if you're listening to this and you're like, what the fuck are macros? It can be super simple. I think coaching really helps.
Well, there's like 2 ways to do it, right? You can follow a meal plan, which tells you exactly what to eat when, which is nice, or you can track your own macros. And what that means, and how I have my clients do it, is I believe that macro tracking gives you the ability to be flexible. It also teaches you a lot about the nutritional value of food. But I have them track their whole day before it even starts. So they do it right before they go to bed, or first thing in the morning if they have time to do it first thing in the morning. So essentially they're building their own meal plan every single day, and all they have to do is pull out their phone, take a look at what they're eating, and then put it back in their pocket or purse.
I'm like, give me the meal plan with my macros in it. Make my life easier, Maria, please. Holidays are coming up. Since we're kind of talking about this already, what are your best tips for staying on track with your goals through the holidays? Because I feel like a lot of people go off the rails on the holidays.
I agree.
Right? So like, don't you think it's best to maybe come up with a plan to be like precautionary? It's like better to be preventative than like, oh, I'll just get through the holidays and then I'll...
Yeah. I tell my clients, like, hey, talk to your family and friends before you come in. Like, hey, I've invested in myself, or like I'm doing this fitness thing. This is my plan. I'm going to walk every single day. I'd love for you to come on walks with me if you want to keep me company. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to be eating mostly clean foods. Or if you're like, my mom always likes to stock the fridge when I get there. And so she's like, well, what do you want? I'm always like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, like cold cuts, just like healthy things that I can cook. But and especially if I'm like dieting for a show or something, I'll tell my family, hey, this is what I'm doing, so that they know how I'm going to act. So it's not a surprise to them whenever I don't eat like the garlic mashed potatoes or whatever the case is. And I always tell them it's not forever, it's just for right now. And it is, it's just temporary. So I always make sure that I have a plan. I always talk to my friends and family, hey, this is what I'm doing. And then I always make sure that I have food prepared so that I can eat throughout the day. Or else if I don't eat throughout the day, then I'm grazing on stuff that other people have prepared.
Right, and there's that Sharon put a whole bag of sugar in
a
that
whole stick of butter.
Yeah, a whole stick of butter. The
Yes.
first 4 letters of butter are butt.
Yeah, so I try to just eat my own foods as much as I can. And then I always make sure that I have a ride or a method of transportation so I can go for a walk or I can go to the gym. That's really important to me.
Yeah, and you just feel like if you're at the gym on Thanksgiving Day, because I've been that person before, you feel like so good.
You do. Yeah.
You're
you're minimizing calories too.
Yeah.
And you get to refeed your muscles. So like if you go hard at the gym Thursday, then your Thanksgiving meal is the perfect time to have that meal because it's going to refeed on your muscles.
To eat. So it's okay to like have these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like eating one salad is not going to make you magically fit.
Right.
Having one Thanksgiving dinner where you eat a bunch of weird stuff is not going to make you gain weight.
Right.
Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
But it's like the 2, 3, 4 days afterwards where you're eating the leftovers and you continue drinking and you like are lacking sleep. It's those days that are what pack on the fat. But like one isolated dinner is not going to do anything to you. So when you do that, when you have smaller portions and you prioritize vegetables and protein and you go to the gym that morning and maybe you go for a walk after you eat, like all those little baby things make a huge difference.
Oh, back to this or that.
Yeah.
I want to know this. Okay. Friends with benefits or long-term relationships?
Long-term relationships.
Yeah.
I have been a serial monogamist for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And even if I don't want to get in a relationship, I'm always ending up in a relationship.
Yeah.
I was maybe single for 3 months back when I was in my 20s. And then at the end of my 20s, I was single for 8 months, but I was still going on dates and having like small connections, like
that's good. That's healthy.
Waters.
Why would you not?
Yeah, but then it always ends up being a relationship. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
So I love love and I love to be loved.
I'm the same way. I'm a long-term, both of my relationships. I mean, this is the longest relationship I've ever been in. And then, like the only ever boyfriend I ever had was also a couple years long. Like,
yeah.
But
I like to nurture things and watch them grow and perfect them, and I love co-creating.
Yeah, ooh, that's good. And life's just easier with a partner, honestly.
Yeah. And when it comes to flings and stuff like that, it's just like unfulfilling.
They just have to be on the same page as you, though,
right?
Or it's not going to work. Like
exactly.
You have to both be. And I understand at some points in relationships, like you're not on the same page always. Like people are going to go through their thing, but like at the end of the day, when you come together, is your big picture aligned?
Right. And dating now is so weird. Like there's so many different definitions. Like, are you exclusive? Are you not exclusive? Like there's like dating exclusively, and then there's relationships, and then there's just dating, and then there's like casual, and each one has a like different meaning, and what you expect from the other person is different, so it's terrifying.
Yeah. But it's good because you're gonna get to know yourself, and now that I know this about you, I'm not gonna let you jump right into a relationship. I'm gonna be like, you gotta wait a couple months, babe. 6 months.
Ashlyn has said that for a long time, and I went 8 months.
That's really good.
My relationship.
I'm impressed with that, And I once heard, and I don't think that this is true, but it was true for me. They say that however long you were with a partner, it takes about half the time that you were with them to get over them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think when you're in a relationship, you almost become one with that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it takes some time to like refine yourself and like rediscover yourself. And
I agree with that.
What a beautiful thing to do. A great time to get into fitness. And like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like when you're starting over again and like you're trying to find yourself again, I feel like such a good time to like recommit to yourself.
Fitness was definitely, and just that first transformation program was the catalyst that changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that too for myself. Like just for mental health and
it's not your interview, okay?
It's not. The curls are like coming in her bangs right now. They just like attacked Medusa hair. No sex for 3 years or no working out for 1 year?
No working out for 1 year. As a fitness coach. That's crazy.
I mean, sex, come on.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay,
you can technically work out while you have sex.
Yes, you can.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
you can. So
Abs.
just a lot of sex
Yes,
then.
will be my workout.
Great. Okay, are you someone who writes everything down or do you type everything in your phone?
I type it in my phone and then I forget that I've done it.
Yeah, I have to write everything down. I'm old school. People are so organized and
Google Calendar.
Google Calendar
All
for the
way.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should be sponsored. I've literally gotten so many people to download the app. Like,
Isn't it free?
I should. It is. Google, if you would like to pay me.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fine.
This podcast is not brought to you by Google, sadly.
No.
Win the lottery or find your soulmate. But let's say the lottery was like $1 billion.
But could I still find my soulmate after I win the lottery?
No, it's this or that.
Oh, okay. I would like to find my soulmate for sure.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, $1
Like
billion
1,000.
though?
Yeah, I can make $1 billion.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, if
You
I'm
can
happy
make
with
$1
my
billion.
soulmate, then like
Guys,
that.
that sounded
could-
so shady of me. I'm like, well, yeah, like fuck Josh, $1 billion.
I can buy
But you
myself
can
12
buy
Joshes.
your soulmate. No, I'm just kidding. No, you can't. That's not the okay.
No.
Well, okay, Maria, I do want to ask you this just to kind of wrap things up. So, first of all, thank you so much for sharing everything.
Yeah.
You're so inspiring and
I love
funny
it.
and just
Aw,
so
thank
easy
you.
to talk to and open up with. Like,
Thank you.
I just love you. I have a question for you. Okay, you are in a building and you get onto an elevator. A little girl comes onto the elevator. It's just her. She's by herself.
Okay.
You have 30 seconds to talk to this girl. There's something inside of you that's like, I want to share with her the secret, or I want to share with her some knowledge, or just something impactful. What would you say to her in those 30 seconds if it was going to impact her life? And how would you want her to feel after having interacted with you and met you?
Wow. I would tell her, first of all, that she's so beautiful and so seen. And no matter what she grew up seeing, I would tell her that she is literally worthy of creating whatever reality that she wants, and that whatever her dreams are, whatever she's imagined being growing up, the reason she believes that or wants that is because she's seen it happen. So there's absolutely no reason why she cannot do that, or else the first person that did that couldn't have been able to do it. So it's just a matter of like knocking off the decisions, or like making the decisions, or creating your own version of that. But like, it's literally possible for her because she's seen it done. She has legs, she has a brain, she has arms. And to literally like just find a way to make that happen. Ask people how they did it and do that, because that's how I did it.
Yeah.
And I would tell her that, and then I would give her the biggest hug. Yeah. Yeah, I just want her to know that she's like seen and beautiful.
That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, and to stand up for herself.
Yes. Ladies, you are beautiful. You are seen. It's time to stand up for yourself. It's time to start creating healthier boundaries in your life. Take a look at the things that you're doing and ask yourself if the people who are in your life, are they really supporting you? And when you go to move forward and you go to make that big change for yourself, it's okay if you lose some people along the way. You are your greatest compass in life. At the end of the day, you have yourself. So definitely check out the Me, Myself, and Health Academy. Right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
perfect way to end this episode. Maria, you're such a gift. I love you so much. Thank you for being
Thank you for
here.
having me on your podcast. It's been great.